Roma, instructions. Rome is in an uproar. Two candidates for the emperor's throne have to prove their power and assert themselves over their rival. Preparing the game. You have to make the following preparations for this exciting game for two players. Lay out the dice discs between you from 1 to 6. The cards and money discs are placed at either end. Each player now gets 3 dice in the color of his choice, along with 10 victory points. The remaining victory points and sestertii form a general stockpile. The white dice is only used during battle. Now shuffle the stack of cards and deal 4 cards to each player. After looking at them, each player gives the other 2 of his cards. The younger player starts by allocating his 4 cards face down to a dice disc. His opponent then does the same. The cards are then turned face up. May the games begin. Playing order. Each of the 2 players takes alternating turns in Revolt in Rome. Each turn consists of 3 phases. 1. Evaluating unoccupied dice discs. 2. Throwing the dice. 3. Making moves. Evaluating dice discs and throwing the dice. In the first phase, 1 victory point must be handed over for each unoccupied dice disc. Because only 4 dice discs are occupied at the start of the game, 2 victory points are paid back into the pile. The draw money and draw cards discs are not counted here. In the second phase, the players whose turn it is throws the dice. If all 3 dice show the same number, the player can throw again. Possible moves, playing cards from your hand, taking money and drawing cards. The result of the dice throw determines the possible moves you can make in the third and most important phase of the game. You may only use each dice once here. The individual moves are play a card, take money, draw cards, or activate a played card. You can play a card from your hand and lay it next to any desired dice disc by paying the value listed in the top left-hand corner. If a card is built over here, it is placed in the discard pile. If you decide to take money, place an action dice on the money disc. You're then given as many sestertii from the pile as the number of eyes shown on the dice. If you want to draw new cards, place an action dice on the disc with the cards. Then draw the number of cards shown on the dice. Look at all the cards before deciding on one. Keep this card in your hand and return the others face up to the discard pile. Possible moves, activating cards. The third option is to activate your own open cards. To do so, place one of your action dice on the dice disc that shows the same value. The instruction on the card is then executed. Blue wants to activate his general, which is lying on the dice disc 5. Blue therefore places an action dice with 5 eyes onto the dice disc and makes the general's move. He gets 1 victory point from the pile for each of his opponent's unoccupied dice discs, which means 2 in this case. Most of the cards have to be activated with 1 action dice, but several of them do not require activation. They are always active. Only the forum requires 2 dice to complete its move. In principle, all moves can be made in any desired sequence as often as desired, as long as action dice are free. It's therefore perfectly okay to take money or draw cards several times during your turn or activate a card several times if the dice permit it. If a player has used up his 3 action dice and does not want to play another card, it is the other player's turn. Battle. Several cards can attack opposition cards during activation. The battle dice is used here. It is thrown once per attack. If the number thrown is lower than the defense number of the card is left lying. If the value is equal or higher, the card is placed on the discard pile. The card with which you launch your attack stays where it is, of course. End of game. The game ends immediately as soon as one of the players has no more victory points or the general stockpile is exhausted. If a player is awarded more victory points during the last move than are available in the pile, the missing points are credited. The player with the most points is the new ruler of Rome. Queen games, connecting generations.